Good morning. Welcome to our online gathering of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Little Rock. I'm Laurie Smith-Prudhomme, a member of our congregation. Whoever you are and wherever you may be right now, we're glad you're tuning in. This is our service for Sunday, August 15th, 2021. And whether you're joining us from your home nearby or from across the country or around the world, we're happy to welcome you to our worshiping community. We welcome back to our virtual pulpit this morning the Reverend Aisha Ansano. Reverend Ansano is called to serve as a prophetic and pastoral presence to those seeking spiritual community and connection. She is the affiliated community minister at First Parish in Malden, Massachusetts, where she lives with her partner. If you'd like to learn more about our church, or if you've been tuning in and feel like our church could become your spiritual home, we'd love to hear from you. Just send us an email at uuclr@uuclr.org. Our worship service will now begin.
Our opening words this morning are by the Reverend Leslie Takahashi. Here in this place of peace, may we find hope. Here in this place of connection, may we find life-giving community. Here in this place of rest, let the unrest of our hearts turn us towards justice. Here, in this space made sacred by the memories of connection, let us feel ourselves part of the new that grows from the old in the spiraling unity of years. Let us worship together.
We gather together in joyful thanksgiving, acclaiming creation whose bounty we share. Both sorrow and gladness we find now in our living. We sing a hymn of praise to the life that we bear. We gather together to join in the journey, confirming, committing our passage to be a true affirmation in joy and tribulation, when bound to human care and hope that we are free.
Good morning. I'm Marcy Riggs. Please join me in saying our affirmation of covenant. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. We light this chalice with these words. Open your eyes to see what is beautiful. Open your mind to learn what is true. Open your heart to love one another.
David White, and I'm the warden of the Tucker unit of the Arkansas Department of Correction. Basically, we're taking these dogs that you see roaming the streets that have no idea where their next meal is coming from, whether it be out of a garbage can or in the road or whatever it is, and we're bringing them into an environment where we're utilizing inmates that are serving a sentence with the state, and they're training that animal to where that animal can go out and be a productive pet. Like I say, simple program that is extremely effective, I think.
It's the American Good Citizenship training. They're potty trained. We have the dogs sit, stay, wait, come when called. I've got every single dog that I've had, I've got their names on it. I mean, she's my 12th one. I'll have number 13 today. And I've got memories of all of them. I mean, they're all still my dogs. It's hard to let them go, but it's fun to sit back and watch them start interacting with their new owners to go to their forever home.
We're in July of 2015, and we'll be 4 years old in December. And right now we are very close to our 600 mark. So that means that in a little less than 4 years, we've adopted out almost 600 dogs. So that's 600 dogs that would have been put to death, and we've saved them from that alternative, and like I said, plus giving the inmates a job skill. So I'm very proud of that.
I got a life sentence for a drug charge and been locked up 18 years now. I always loved animals, always had a dog. It took a lot of tension off of me. It gives you something, it gives you some love, you know. You're giving a dog something, that dog gets a home. That's the most important thing.
It's an opportunity to rehabilitate dogs who've been abused, but it's also an opportunity for us in white to show people that we have been rehabilitated and we're working towards paying back to society for what we've done.
If they care about an animal and they get involved in this program, I know they go out of their way not to get in no trouble, because it's all about that dog.
We have to not smoke, we have to not mess with drugs, we have to not mess with any contraband, because to do so will bring us down and bring the program down. And right now the guys that we have in the program don't, you know, they're pretty much straight and narrow. You have to be, because I don't want to lose my dog, and I know nobody else wants to lose theirs. It's part of this program.
We don't want to set up a situation where the dog is having to be reassigned to another inmate. So we're looking for those individuals who are steady and that are willing to take that on, because that's a difficult task if you think about it, that on a weekly rotation, there's just a number of weeks go by before we rotate that animal back out into the community, and the inmate has to lose that pet and obtain another one, because it is an ongoing process. So it's difficult, but we find inmates that are able to handle that.
When you spend 24/7 with them every day, you really get attached to them. But in my heart, I know that dog is going out to a better place. He's going to have a second chance in society, like I hope I have.
It's kind of heartbreaking, you know, especially when you do 2 months with him, and that dog that's your best friend. He ain't gonna never lie to you. He gonna be straight up with you. That's the whole key about, you gotta be straight up with the dog. You give that dog 100, The dog's gonna give you a hug. That boy right there, that's my boy. That's Toby.
Go ahead and pass off the dog that you have to the adoptive families. Make sure you take your journal, and then I have the information from the shelter that'll have their vet records and things like that.
All you gotta do is love him. Always remember, dog is man's best friend. I've always heard that. It's a fact. That's the whole key about this program. Show that dog love, because we don't know what that dog, what environment that dog came from. All you gotta do is love him.
I invite you to join me in a spirit of prayer and reflection. Divine Spirit, God in everything, whose name is inscribed on our hearts, here we are. Here we are exactly as we are, with our hopes and fears, intentions and dreams, mistakes, fully human, no more, no less. How wonderful, how terrifying. We breathe in and we breathe out. Holy One, so much of this world is restless. There is injustice all around us, everywhere we look. Misinformation spreads and elevates. And in the midst of a pandemic, we worry for those we love, for ourselves, and grieve those who have died. We yearn for time together with those we love, and we yearn for justice, and we yearn for rest. Our people in our communities are fed up and tired and worried. And in the midst of it all, life keeps happening. The give and take, the ebb and flow, the back and forth of our lives continues as always, cycles leading to cycles, ever widening circles swirling. We breathe in and we breathe out. Spirit of our lives, be with us. Be with us in the joyful moments of celebration and in the painful moments of grief. Be with us in the ordinary moments of life as they continue to add up and up and up, building themselves into the fullness of a human life. We breathe in and we breathe out. Spirit of life, help us to continue building and maintaining connection and community, even when it feels harder because of distance and screens in between us. Help us to keep moving through this thing we call life, moment by moment, experience by experience, together. We breathe in and we breathe out. Please join me in a moment of silence, a moment to recognize all that is and was and will be in our lives and in the world, and to breathe in and breathe out. Amen.
Sing in my
Our reading today is the poem Perhaps the World Ends Here by the poet Joy Harjo. The world begins at a kitchen table. No matter what, we must eat to live. The gifts of earth are brought and prepared, set on the table. So it has been since creation, and it will go on. We chase chickens or dogs away from it. Babies teethe at the corners. They scrape their knees under it. It is here that children are given instructions on what it means to be human. We make men at it. We make women. At this table, we gossip, recall enemies and the ghosts of lovers. Our dreams drink coffee with us as they put their arms around our children. They laugh with us at our poor falling down selves, and as we put ourselves back together once again at the table. This table has been a house in the rain, an umbrella in the sun. Wars have begun and ended at this table. It is a place to hide in the shadow of terror, a place to celebrate the terrible victory. We have given birth on this table and have prepared our parents for burial here. At this table, we sing with joy, with sorrow. We pray of suffering and remorse. We give thanks. Perhaps the world ends at the kitchen table while we are laughing and crying, eating of that last sweet bite.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
When I was a kid, dinner time was sacred in our house. I'm not sure if my parents would have used those words at the time, though I think they would indulge their minister daughter in that language now. But really, it was sacred. My family ate dinner together every night, not in a forced way, especially as we got older. My sister and I had obligations with school or work, and so did my parents sometimes. But the general baseline assumption was that in the evening, my family would gather around the table to eat together. We would set the table. We would put all the food in serving bowls, carry them to the table. We'd put out plates and glasses and silverware and napkins. And then we'd sit down and we'd say grace. And while we ate, we'd share what had happened in our days and share what we were thankful for. It's been a really long time since my family ate dinner like this. As I started high school and my sister middle school, we had more and more commitments in the evenings. Soccer practice, swim meets, chorus concerts, play rehearsal, dinner with our friends, with our boyfriends and their families. And then I moved away to college and my parents got divorced. My sister and my mom spent a semester abroad. People and families evolve and change. But even though it's been such a long time, dinner with my family will always be a sacred space in my life, something that has deeply influenced the way that I interact with the world and think about food in my life. In their book, Consuming Passions, The Anthropology of Eating, the anthropologists Peter Farb and George Armelagos present a very simple thesis. They say that to know what, where, how, when, and with whom people eat is to know the character of their society. In other words, by looking at our practices surrounding the table, we can learn a lot about ourselves, about the ways that our society, cultures, and contexts exist. Eating is something that we all do by virtue of being alive and being human. But we certainly do not all eat in the same ways. Different cultures and societies have different norms and traditions about how and what and where to eat. Around the world, people sit at the table, or they sit on the floor or on cushions. We might use forks or chopsticks or bread or our hands to bring the food to our mouth. We eat in silence or with conversation. It is a somber time or one filled with raucous laughter. And we certainly do not eat the same things. What is normal food in one culture, raw pickled herring, whale blubber, lunch meat, is met with confusion or disgust or even derision for those from somewhere else. What is enjoyed for breakfast in one country is strictly dinner food in another, and may not even be on the menu in yet another place. But given all of this, despite all of this, however and whatever we eat, around the world, families, tribes, friends, religious communities gather time and time again over food. Food is used to celebrate and to comfort, in good times and in hard ones. When a baby is born, friends and neighbors rush over with food. When someone dies, it is the same. Being fed is an intimate act of being cared for, of being nourished, not only physically, but also emotionally. Being gathered around the table with someone makes them feel like family to me. Even without all the rituals my family had around the table, sharing a meal with people just feels right. I remember when I attended St. Lydia's Dinner Church, a Lutheran church in Brooklyn, New York, for the first time. And I'm a bit of an introvert. It takes me a while to warm up to people. But as soon as I showed up, I was put to work in the kitchen, chopping and then cleaning and setting the table. And despite being surrounded by strangers, very quickly into the meal, I was laughing and sharing and holding someone's toddler so she could have an uninterrupted meal. The speed with which being around the table helped me connect with people has always stuck with me. The table is a powerful place. We are there to eat, but not only to eat. We are there to laugh, to savor, to linger, to connect. And this year, things have been so different. This year, we haven't been able to just have impromptu dinners around our friends' kitchen tables or plan elaborate holiday meals with extensive guest lists. Our tables have been less full. And even though we know that it's been in order to keep each other safe, we can still be sad about how things have changed. The table is such a powerful place, a place where we build and grow community, and it can be hard to lose that space. But I don't think we actually have lost it. By now, many of us have had experiences and seen that it is possible to gather around the table with others, even when we're not actually at a physical table together. Early in the pandemic, we had a Passover Seder with my partner's extended family. 7 households, 6 generations, 6 states. We had Easter dinner and Christmas Eve brunch with my mom and sister, even an Easter egg hunt in the backyard over FaceTime. And I've hosted a pancake brunch church for a few different congregations now, where we gather and eat and have conversation like we would around the table. And I've done other things that don't involve eating a meal at the same time, but that still feel like I'm gathering around the table with my beloveds. I've attended a few cooking classes. I've dropped food off for people that I love who could use not having to think about what to cook that day. I've even done a couple bake-offs, one with the youth group that I work with and one for a friend's birthday, that were just so much fun to play around in the kitchen with other people. And so when we stop to think about it, we know that sharing a meal isn't just about being in the same place and eating. It is a deeply vulnerable thing that we are doing, and it feeds more than just our bodies. It fills more than just our bellies. And even when we can't be together in person, we can carry the joy and nourishment of gathering within ourselves. Allow it to ground and sustain us in these difficult times. And even when we may be eating our meals alone or with the same people we have been eating meals with for a year now, we can still allow the power of a crowded table to nourish us not only in body, but also in spirit, and to allow us to continue to feel connected. And so I invite you into a time of grounding. We're going to do a guided meditation on the power of the table. If you have a bite or sip of food nearby, you can hold it in your hands. And if you don't, you can simply imagine it, as I'll be doing. A bite or a sip of something you love to eat or drink. So settle into your body. Adjust your position so that you feel relaxed and comfortable. Begin with just a few slow breaths in and out. In and out. This bite or sip, whether you are holding it or imagining it, is powerful. It has the power to nourish your body, the body that you rely on in order to be who you are in the world. And it connects you to one another in this moment as we indulge in this imagining together. Even not in the same room, we are grounded in the same moment through this focus on this food or drink. And so begin by contemplating it. What does it look like? What colors and shapes might it have? What does it smell like? Is it sweet or savory, bitter or salty? How does it feel? What textures does it have? Is it smooth or sticky, crumbly or firm? Is it cold or hot, room temperature or the temperature of your body? And as you take or imagine taking that bite or sip, what does it taste like? And what does it feel like in your mouth? Enjoy it as long as possible. Savor it. Allow it to nurture you and nourish you. And as it nourishes your body, I invite you to think about all the hands it had to pass through to get to you, all the people who had a part in bringing it to you in this moment. Those who sowed or sold the seeds, who cultivated the plants and animals, those who picked and packaged it, those who transported it near and far, those who prepared it, who brought it to your table. If you're drinking just a sip of water from your tap, marvel at how many people had to be involved for it to be possible for you to turn on that tap and have water that you can drink to nourish your body. Whether the food came from your garden or a farm far, far away, nothing finds its way to our tables and our bellies without the hands of so many others. And so even when we eat physically alone, even when we gather only with each other in our hearts, we still have gathered to the table so many others, so many people who we will never meet, but who are crucial to our lives. Notice the contribution that they bring to nourishing your body and your spirit. Cultivate gratitude for the ways in which we are all connected, and the ways in which those connections cross over one another at the table. Even in this moment, when we cannot sit at the same physical table, know that you pass along nourishment to others through love and generosity as you have received it for yourself. May you be blessed by the cycle of nourishment, and may you bless others in this cycle. In this moment, we cannot gather at the table in person, but that doesn't mean we can't carry the love, the support, and the nourishment of being together in our hearts to sustain and ground us in the days ahead. So let us, beloveds, gather at the sacred table. It looks different these days, but it can nourish us nonetheless. As Joy Harjo tells us in her poem, the world may begin and end at the kitchen table, and everything in between too. May you be nourished and blessed. Amen.
As is our custom when we close our worship, we speak words of hope for one another and for our world. Wherever you may be right now, I invite you to say with us our words of blessing. Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings.